Hello, friends. Welcome to my channel, Recap Stories. Today, we're diving into an intriguing tale. The story begins in a futuristic Canada, where due to overpopulation, the government has banned families from having more than one child. No one is allowed to have a second child, even if their first child has passed away. Anyone breaking this law is sent to the most dangerous prison. Across Canada, checkpoints are set up, where people are only allowed to proceed after thorough inspection. In the middle of this tense environment, a man named John Brink, a former soldier, is traveling in a car with his wife, Karen. Karen, wearing a magnetic jacket under her coat, wants to hide something crucial during inspections. She is pregnant and plans to give birth to her second child away from here. This jacket will keep her pregnancy a secret during security checks. During an inspection, another woman was caught and detained because of her pregnancy, which frightened Karen even more. However, her magnetic jacket kept her safe from exposure. Just as they exited the checkpoint, a soldier noticed Karen's jacket, and several officers immediately started chasing them. To protect his wife and unborn child, John told Karen to run while he stayed back to hold off the guards. Following this incident, John was sent to a high-tech prison called Fortres Yathis, situated in the middle of a desert. Escaping from this prison was impossible. Upon arrival, guards stripped all prisoners for a complete search. Then, they installed advanced trackers inside their bodies, which would activate and harm them if any prison rules were broken. The director warned all inmates that if they crossed the yellow line, they would feel immense pain, and crossing the red line would result in instant death. One prisoner accidentally stepped over the yellow line, feeling severe abdominal pain, and when he crossed the red line, his stomach swelled quickly, leading to an explosive death. Afterward, all prisoners were taken underground, 30 floors below, via a lift, into the depths of the prison. John was assigned to a cell with a prisoner named Nino, and outside their cell stood a guard robot, Z10. Each cell was secured with laser beams to prevent escape. Here, John met other inmates, D-Day and Abraham. Before sleeping, Abraham warned John not to make the mistake of dreaming. When everyone was asleep, Z10 came to check on them and scanned John's mind, accessing his dreams. In his dream, John saw his wife, Karen. From the monitoring room, Poe also saw John's dream and immediately spotted Karen. Since dreaming was forbidden in this facility, Poe activated John's security device. Suddenly, John awoke from his sleep due to intense pain in his stomach. The next day, while working, a prisoner named Maddox attempted to attack Nino. John quickly intervened to save him. However, Z activated the devices implanted in their stomachs, forcing them to stop fighting. Later, they were taken to a small laser cell where they were questioned about who started the fight. Nino remained silent out of fear, so John took the blame to protect his friend. Afterward, John was brought to Poe's office, where Poe showed him a live feed of Karen showering and informed him that she had also been captured and was now in prison. Poe began to torture both John and Karen severely, making them cry out in pain. Later, Abraham told John that all the women were held on floors A and B, meaning Karen was likely there. Meanwhile, Karen was being held with another pregnant woman in her cell. Suddenly, when this woman experienced severe stomach pain, the guards began forcefully taking her away. Karen realized that every woman in this prison was pregnant and that something sinister was happening to the babies here. Back in the men's prison, Maddox suddenly attacked John, and the two started fighting fiercely. From her floor, Karen saw this scene and was shocked. The fight was evenly matched, but John managed to push Maddox over the edge. Maddox barely saved himself by grabbing the ledge. Poe ordered John to finish off Maddox, but John disobeyed and saved him instead. Furious, Poe activated the device in Maddox's stomach, causing it to explode. Before the guards could capture John, he cleverly handed Maddox's security device to Nino. Later, Karen was brought into a room where John was strapped to a large, circular machine known as the mind wipe chamber. Karen was brought there to try to convince John. Shortly after, the guards dragged him out of the machine, which began spinning intensely, causing John's mind to become disoriented. This was Poe's way of punishing John for not obeying his orders. Memories of John's military training days and his wedding flashed through his mind. 3 days later, Poe summoned Karen to his office. Surprised that John had survived on the machine for 3 days, when most people gave up after just an hour, Poe made Karen an offer. If she divorced John and agreed to stay with him, he would set both John and their unborn child free. Thinking of her husband and child, Karen reluctantly agreed. When John returned to his cell, he was like a living corpse. He no longer spoke to anyone and lay still, feeling no pain anymore. Karen was now living with Poe. One night, she saw Poe sitting with several wires attached to his body. She realized Poe had been modified into an advanced human who needed neither food nor sleep. Once a month, he connected these wires to intake amino acids, which served as his food. The children born in the prison were subjected to similar modifications, turned into advanced humans who would be free from hunger and thirst and could live forever. Hearing this horrified Karen. 4 months had passed, but John's condition showed no improvement. Abraham told him that Karen's belly was growing and that their child would soon be born. John remained still, but a single tear fell from his eye. That night, Karen distracted Poe, made him drink wine, and knocked him out. Then, through the control panel, she entered John's dream to pull him out of his mental pit, reviving him in real life. Seeing John fully conscious again made Abraham and Karen overjoyed. John asked Abraham for help to escape the prison, and they agreed to assist him. Nino handed John the security device they had taken from Maddox's body. Their friend D-Day, who was an expert in computers before being imprisoned, decided to examine the device. Later, Karen stole a diamond-like object from Poe's cabin, and she was about to be caught. Karen quietly hid the diamond-like object in her mouth. The next day, she gave this object to Abraham and asked him to pass it on to someone she trusted. In reality, this diamond-like object was a detailed map of the prison. They figured out that they could escape the prison by going through the construction site. The following morning, Abraham returned the map to Poe's room so no one would suspect anything. Meanwhile, T-Day discovered how the security device worked. This device had a very powerful magnet attached to it, and using it, they decided to remove the devices embedded in their bodies. Their plan succeeded, and the security devices were removed from everyone's bodies. The next day, Z-Robot informed Poe that something was going wrong in the prison, and he had seen Karen stealing the object and Abraham returning it. Poe became furious when he realized he had been deceived, but Z warned him that due to his negligence, he had been removed from the director's post. Meanwhile, John and his team were preparing for their escape. They removed their security devices and placed them on a pipe in the construction area, then started pretending to fight with each other. When Z-Robot learned of this fight, he activated the devices. Since the devices were on the pipe, a loud explosion occurred, causing the pipe to burst and creating an escape route. However, as they started to escape, Poe released hot air into the pipe from the control room. At the same time, high-tech robots began firing at the prisoners. They were trapped in the pipe. A prisoner named Styx panicked and started to head back to the prison, but the robots riddled him with bullets. Meanwhile, Abraham arrived at the prison to retrieve Karen, but Poe appeared and killed Abraham. The guards intended to drag Karen away so her child could also be turned into an advanced human. John and his team managed to destroy a robot. Then they realized that these weren't robots but advanced humans. John picked up the gun and fought against the rest of them, eventually reaching the prison. Finally, everyone got into an elevator and began ascending. They reached Poe's cabin and searched for Karen. Just then, John noticed a screen showing doctors forcibly extracting his and Karen's baby. John threatened Poe to stop the operation, but Poe was no longer the director, so no one paid attention to his demands. At that moment, a robot recognized them and attacked, but all the prisoners managed to dodge in time, and the bullet hit Poe directly. After Poe's death, D-Day tried to stop the doctors from the control panel, but a soldier shot him. John avenged his friend's death, and D-Day used his remaining strength to shut down the entire prison's power system. The doctor's actions were halted, and the security system was disabled. Taking advantage of this moment, all the prisoners escaped from the prison. Only John and Nino were left there. They reached Karen to save her, freed her from the doctors, and brought her to the prison door. The three of them stopped while crossing the Mexico border. Karen was about to give birth, but suddenly the prison truck started moving on its own. It turned out that the truck was still being controlled from the prison. The truck crushed and killed Nino. John went outside to face it and blew the truck up. Unfortunately, the truck crashed into a hut, and Karen got trapped under the debris. John panicked and started searching for his wife, but Karen had already escaped just in time. She was perfectly fine and holding their beloved child in her hands. Finally, John and Karen succeeded in saving their baby. So, how much do you love your parents? Please write one line in the comments. How did you like the story? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. I kindly request you to help me reach 10,000 subscribers on my channel as soon as possible. We hope you all enjoy this video and will like it. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next video.